the bandwagon. You guys are awesome, man.
Hey, this is Mickael Pietrus from France, calling from France with my guys from Bandwagon. Just listen to us every day. We be on the radio every day. We love Bandwagon, so let's roll.
You are a legend. In today's episode of the Bandwagon,
Big Baby actually signed with your team, the Power.
What? Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, my. Look, y'all, the Power are the Big Three national champions.
Former NBA player and French master Mickael Pietrus joins the show to officially announce his retirement.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mickael Pietrus. Yes, I would like to say that I'm officially retired from basketball.
And?
In 4th grade, you were sitting there drawing penises on your Etch-a-Sketch. You're like 8 years old, Alex. Did you even know you had a penis at that point? Like, isn't that before you learned like what all the stuff is down there?
Let's get to it.
He rocks in the treetop all the day long, hopping and a bopping and a singing his song. All the little birds on Jaybird Street love to hear the robin go tweet, 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 rockin' robin, tweet, tweet, rockin' robin, tweet, tweet, blow rockin' robin, 'cause we really gonna rock 'em tonight.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today is Thursday, January 18th, 2018. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's edition of the Bandwagon Sports Podcast. Great show for you today as soon-to-be former NBA player Mickael Pietrus joins the show to discuss his career in a beautiful French accent and crack some jokes with us. Fantastic interview. I'm really, really looking forward to hearing that one again. Joining me, as always, from the University of North Carolina Podcast Lab, that's Mr. Victor Hensley. You can find Vic on Twitter at FreeZeal33. I guess I should probably introduce myself first before I introduce Vic. So, my name is Alex Stroh from the middle of Wisconsin, Titletown, USA, Green Bay, Wisconsin. My name is Alex Stroh. You can find me on Twitter at Alex_Stroh. We'll talk about the person I introduced first now, Mr. Victor.
How are you, my friend?
I am doing well. Thanks for asking. Great day. It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be a saint. Wait, no, it's not.
It's a great day to be a Tar Heel. GDT back,
Yeah.
baby. It's snowing here, actually. Update.
I heard you're kind of Wisconsin-esque this week.
Yeah, 10 inches of snow in good old Chapel Hill. We got out of class today.
2 days straight.
We got out of class Wednesday, yesterday, and then today for Thursday. So I'm really excited. Hopefully we can keep that train rolling, not have to go Friday, and I'll be chilling. I'm sorry that you don't get that luxury there in good old Wisconsin.
Yeah, we have to be tough when it snows, which is unfortunate, but it happens.
How much snow do you have to get to have classes canceled, do you think?
Probably about 10 in a night, I'd imagine, or 8 in a night. We had 8 over the course of 2 days the other day, and no schools were canceled in this area. I'm not back in school yet, but yeah, none of the high schools were canceled. So
wow. So we got 10 inches in one night. So you might be out. You might have been out, just like I was.
It was probably pretty close for that
Right.
one. Yeah, that's a lot of snow.
Yeah. You know, I think we need to get into it because there's a whole lot to talk about right now. It's championship weekend in NFL.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I don't know if you're excited. I'm hype. I'm ready.
excited. Go Jags.
Go Heels.
Shout out to
go Bucks.
Shout out.
Go Packers. Go Jags.
Go Pack. It's championship weekend. Let's start in AFC. I said go Jags. Let's start in the AFC. The Jacksonville Jaguars, Victor, are in the AFC championship game after the upset over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now they're heading to Foxborough. I said it weird again, to take on the top seed of New England Patriots. Let's talk. I guess start with who you got, and then we can jump into it.
You know what, Alex? I got the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You know what, Victor? So do I.
Yes.
I got the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes, sir. Here's why.
Yeah, go ahead.
The motivation from this team, man, is unreal. I talked about it in the last show. I'm a big fan. I jumped on the bandwagon because I'm a big fan of teams of destiny. This just might be one of them. That defense is insane. Jalen Ramsey is insane. These dudes are going to shut Tom Brady down. They're going to hit that guy, hit him hard. Calais Campbell's going to hit him hard, make him uncomfortable. I'm telling you, the Jags are going to pull off this upset. I picked it last week. I'm picking it again this week.
Here's where I'm at, Vic. And last week, I mentioned this, I believe. I might have mentioned this in our Twitter previews. I don't know if I did or not. But I know I've mentioned this to you off the air, and I want to mention it on the air because it's an important fact. If the Steelers would have won that game, I would be picking New England this week. If the Jaguars won that game, I'm picking Jacksonville this week. Because the defensive matchups between the two teams aren't the same. Tom Brady would probably be able to work well against that Pittsburgh defense. Against the Jacksonville defense, that's not going to happen. Jalen Ramsey, you mentioned him. A guy that could match up size-wise with Rob Gronkowski. Those linebackers, Paul Poslovsky. I think I said that right. A guy that can match up with Rob Gronkowski. The matchups are going to be good. Jalen Ramsey, that top corner again, he can match up with just about anybody. Chris Hogan in the slot. He can match up with Brandon Cooks on the outside, and he can match up with Rob Gronkowski, the tight end.
Hey, don't forget about AJ Boye.
I like that last name.
Butchered that name. They got two Pro Bowl cornerbacks on that defense. You can't forget
AJ
about
Booyah!
him.
Booyah!
There you go.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
I enjoy that defense, Victor, and I really do think they're going to give Tom Brady troubles, even though I'm not taking away how good Tom Brady is because Tom Brady is the GOAT. However, I think Jacksonville's defense, as long as Blake Bortles can continue to run, and Leonard Fournette can run, and the old man Chris Ivory, as long as maybe if he's active this week, I'm not sure. If he's active, he can run when need be. If Blake Bortles can actually, in all seriousness, put together a good offensive effort, Jacksonville's going to Minnesota.
Yeah, and what I've realized about Tom Brady is that, at least for this season, I really have not been impressed with him in the latter part of the season. He did perfectly fine in the game against Tennessee, so maybe the end of the regular season was kind of a fluke. But Tom Brady has not been impressive whatsoever. I've seen him miss so many players. I'm sure I've talked about it on the show before, especially against the Dolphins just a few weeks ago, and how awful he was. I don't know. I can see this defense making him so uncomfortable that it helps him get the dub. And with that offense, I think as long as Blake Bortles doesn't screw up, he can do this thing. He really can.
Yeah, I agree. I think Blake Bortles just needs to put something together, like I said. And he hasn't been necessarily fantastic because that's not who Blake Bortles is. He's not a necessarily fantastic quarterback like the guy playing on the other team this weekend. But let's remember who has the really good defense. And I think as long as Blake Bortles doesn't suck, they can win this game. Right. And they have a serious chance to win it.
And one thing that's just been bugging me is, for whatever reason, it seems like people have already stamped the Patriots for the Super Bowl, and just kind of have almost all season, really. But then this entire playoffs, they're just kind of like, Patriots are going to the Super Bowl, no matter what. Patriots got it. So essentially, they're really only talking about the Eagles-Vikings game and saying, well, who's going to face Tom Brady in the Super Bowl? Slow your roll a little bit, because Blake Bortles, Leonard Fournette, these dudes aren't playing. These dudes are here to win. The way Jalen Ramsey spoke after that win against Pittsburgh, when he was speaking to that Jacksonville crowd after they got home, I'm telling you, the motivation that I saw from him, the hypeness that I saw from him was unreal. And I think they honestly believe they can go in, beat Tom Brady in Foxborough, and win a Super Bowl. Here's the thing, Alex, is I saw a statistic, it was like an infographic, that the Jags, for like the last 5 or 6 years, have had like the 5th worst record in the NFL or worse. It was like 2012, they were the 2nd worst. 2013, the 4th worst. 2014, the 3rd worst. It just like, it kept going like that. And all of a sudden, like last year, they did the 5th worst record or something like that. And now all of a sudden, they're in the AFC Championship. I'm telling you, this right here is a team of destiny. They're going to get it done. Tom Brady, you better watch out. Sorry, Boston. Sorry, David Gross. This ain't your year. I know I picked y'all to go to the Super Bowl, I picked New Orleans and New England. Sorry, I'm wrong on both.
It's all falling apart.
It is. It's falling apart. I'm telling you. Just because that sneaky win against Tennessee, it's a fluke. I'm telling you. Jacksonville got it. Next.
Fair enough. All I have to say is I don't want to take it. I don't want to take it away. Not easy to win in Boston in January, but I think it's going to happen this week. Yes, next indeed. Minnesota, Philadelphia, NFC Championship in Philadelphia. Going to be a good game. I really don't know who to pick here, so I'm making you go first.
That's fair. I've struggled with this a little bit. I got to go Minnesota, I think. That's another team of destiny. It's going to be Jaguars-Vikings Super Bowl. It's going to be a home game for Minnesota.
I'm thinking the other way. I'm thinking Philadelphia, and I don't know why. I really don't have any reasons for this. I just feel like Philadelphia at home. That's really all my edges. I think it's going to be a really good football game. Nick Foles, Case Keenum, former teammates going at it. QB versus QB, two fantastic years the duo they both had. I just don't know. I might even change when we do Twitter predictions on Friday. I might even change. I don't even know. I just right now I think it's Philadelphia. They've been the best team just about all year long. I just really have a hard time thinking. And don't get me wrong, Minnesota squeaked one out last weekend. But I really just my head says Philadelphia. I don't know.
I mean, I respect it, but I disagree. I like Philly. I like the receivers they have on the team. I like the running backs they have on that team. Defense is pretty good themselves. They're a very well-balanced, good team. Obviously, Nick Foles at the helm is not the greatest. He hasn't done the best this year. That's okay. Obviously, if they would have Carson Wentz, we'd all pick him to go to the Super Bowl at this point. But all that aside, Minnesota, to me, you can't have an emotional win like that. That insane Stephon Diggs touchdown to walk off against New Orleans. You can't have that victory and then come out and lay a goose egg and wet the bed the next week. You just can't do it. Great teams find a way to come back and after an emotional victory, come back and keep rolling, keep it moving. Baltimore did it in 2012. I talk about that year a lot. You can see why. They did it after the Mickael Miracle against the Broncos in the divisional round. Came out and beat the Patriots in Foxborough in the AFC Championship. I think Minnesota's going to – it's kind of the exact same thing. They had this walk-off touchdown, this Minneapolis Miracle, and they're going to come into Philadelphia and get the job done. That defense is insane, one of the best in the league. So, obviously, I'm putting a lot of stock in defenses with Jacksonville and Minnesota. Love them both. And, I think Case Keenum at this point, after that victory, and really after the season, I think he's gotten so much confidence that I think he can come out and win this thing. The media is putting no confidence in Nick Foles. I don't think he has that much confidence as a quarterback, even though he should. He's talented. So I think a lot of this is just going to come down to, it seems like, even though neither one of them really have that much experience, it just seems like Minnesota is so much more seasoned and so much more experienced that I don't understand why. Because most of the players on Minnesota, they don't know what this feeling feels like. But, some players on the Eagles do, not many. So I don't know. To me, it just seems like Minnesota has this thing on lock. And I think it's going to be the second worst game of the weekend. I think it's going to be a fine game, the second worst game of the weekend. I think Minnesota's got this thing. I think it's going to be
the second worst game of the weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be the worst game of the weekend. So, I don't know. But I got Minnesota. I got Case Keenum in Minnesota, and it's going to be fun. So watching them play a home game in the Super Bowl.
My last point is just to go off one thing you said, and that is I don't think Nick Foles has much confidence as a quarterback. He's a quarterback playing for a trip to the Super Bowl. I think his confidence is just fine.
Well, but he also wasn't the one to get him there, really. He's only played, 4 games, something like that?
Right. I think it's 4 or 5, 3 or 4. I don't know. But regardless, he won last week. He's going to do it again this week, and he's going to go to Minnesota after beating Minnesota. And that's quite the story over there in Philly. Let's move on to one thing before we get with your former Magic player, Mickael Pietrus, former Celtic, former a lot of other teams, but funny. So I just love it. I just love it. Such a good interview. I want to talk about the NBA a little bit. There's some tension. There's some tension going on. Chris Paul missing his boys, missing his homies over in LA, so they decide to bust into the locker room. Arana Flalo likes to swing out of his shoes. What's going on, Vic? What's going on?
What's going on is I think we're all witnessing the fact that the NBA is the greatest league on earth. Easily.
Ooh.
The drama
Ooh.
is so unprecedented in any other league, man. I mean, this is unreal. Like you mentioned, the Los Angeles Clippers trying to break into the Houston Rockets. No, sorry. Flip that.
You got
Houston
that
Rockets
backwards.
trying to break into the Los Angeles Clippers locker room. You got Austin Rivers fearing for his life, probably. Trevor Ariza wants to kill somebody. Gerald Green's trying to help him. Apparently, Clint Capella's acting like a distraction at the front door of the locker room where everybody's sneaking in the back or something like that. I don't know what's going on. Blake Griffin is having his tights ripped and getting pushed at the free throw line and then shoving Mike D'Antoni. Austin Rivers is still, even though he's fearing for his life, he's still talking trash. Who knows what's going on in that situation? People are getting suspended left and right. I don't know what's going on. Actually, I think there's only 2 suspensions. That's beside the point. Then you've got Aaron Aflalo of My Magic trying to swing at this big white dude from Minnesota who's like a foot taller than him. Well, I don't know what you're doing. He missed bad, and I don't get it. He hit him with his forearm or something. He would have killed him. If he would have connected on that punch, the dude would be dead. There'd be a dead white dude on the court in Minnesota. I think the game was actually in Orlando, so it would have been a big white dude dead on the court in Orlando. And then on top of all that, you got Isaiah Thomas and Paul Pierce, for some reason, going at it over each other because they're going to be honored on the same night on February 11th, I believe.
No. Isaiah's not getting honored anymore.
He's not getting honored anymore? That's official?
No, they pulled the plug on that one.
Good. No, good. Paul Pierce deserves it. Paul Pierce deserves to be nominated. I mean, not nominated.
Nominated.
I'm so riled up right now. Paul Pierce deserves to be honored. Paul Pierce did so much for that team. I'm telling you, Isaiah Thomas had like one good season. So, no, Paul Pierce is better. Although, Paul Pierce is really petty, man. He's really petty.
He's really petty. You're absolutely correct.
I would be mad, too, because Isaiah Thomas should have been honored the first time, even though he wasn't playing when Cleveland went to Boston. He should have been honored then, and then it would have gotten it all over with. But it's okay. So that whole thing, I don't know. The NBA is the greatest league on earth. It's really undeniable at this point.
Do not ruin Paul Pierce's homecoming.
Dude, Paul Pierce.
You remember that girl in high school? You know? There was that one girl when it came to the homecoming dance. Don't ruin my homecoming. That's Paul Pierce right now, man. Petty.
I would be upset, though, at the same time. You know what I mean? He did so much for that team. He put in so many blood, sweat, and tears into that team, man. Even though he didn't do it all himself, I saw something earlier. I saw stats earlier that he had by himself before before Ray Allen and KG got there. He had no seasons with more than 50 wins or 50 wins at all. He never hit 50 wins in a season until they got there. So he didn't do it all himself. But he's still one of he's like the Jameer Nelson of the Boston Celtics. I love Jameer Nelson. You know, he didn't really do that much in the Magic uniform. He just kind of showed up, played the game. He didn't do a whole lot, but I love the guy. Same thing with Paul Pierce in Boston. Alex, all I'm saying is, once again, NBA is so much fun. It's unreal, man. You've got the Cavaliers who we don't know what they're gonna do. Like, we don't know if they're gonna be good because apparently even the Cavaliers players are like, well, we suck. We can't compete with the Warriors. Like, they're saying that. You got LeBron James is probably going to end up getting Dwayne Wade traded because it's just the way he's looking at him and whatnot. I don't know. It's crazy. Everything's crazy. And the thing is, even with how fantastic the NBA drama is, even with how exciting everything is, even though this is one of the most exciting regular seasons of NBA basketball I've ever seen in my life, we all know who's going to win the title. And that kind of ruins it all. There's still no parity in this league.
That's true.
Still no parity in this league. So I love the NBA. I love how insane it is, how it riles you up, makes you excited. It's kind of like a good boxing match at all times. But It's like, at the end of the day, we know what's going to happen. It's like a movie we've rewatched and rewatched and rewatched. You enjoy it as it's going through until the end, and you're just like, you know what? There's no suspense here. And that's how I feel about the NBA.
You want to hear about a quickly before we get to Mickael Pietrus, a league with some suspense?
Yeah, sure.
The Big Three has announced the signings of Nate Robinson, and breaking news, you heard it here first. Glenn Big Baby Davis.
Wow. Wow. I knew about Robinson. I knew about Nate. Didn't hear about Big Baby. Wow.
It's not official yet, but I have uncovered some sources, some inside sources have told me Glenn Big Baby Davis has signed as a co-captain for the next year of the Big Three.
Do you know who he signed with?
Yes, I had it. Now I lost it. I think
Nate Robinson signed with Tri-State, I believe, which is your team.
Yes, my Tri-State, yes. And then Big Baby actually signed with your team, the Power.
What? Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, my. Look, y'all, the Power are the Big Three national champions in Season 2. I'm telling you. Sorry, Rashad McCants. Love you, man. But I'm sorry, but we got it. Go Power. Wow, that's big.
Anyway.
Wow, that is huge.
From a bunch of former NBA players to another who... Spoiler alert, is about to officially announce his retirement right here, right now. His name is Mickael Pietrus. He played with Paul Pierce. He played with Big Baby Davis.
Wow, I'm in shock.
You're in shock. I'm just gonna introduce him. His name is Mickael Pietrus, Mickael for some reason. Oh, he's French. That's the reason. I'm just gonna shut up. Here he is.
We are now joined by, already, we haven't even started yet, and I think this might be the hardest I've laughed before an interview. We are joined now by former NBA player out in France now. His name is Mickael Pietrus. Mickael, thank you for joining us today on the Bandwagon, my friend.
Hey, how you guys doing? Bandwagon forever.
Bandwagon forever, baby. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Now, Mickael, before we jump into your career and what you're up to today, I want to ask. So, I was looking at a post-game press conference when you were with the Celtics, and you said, I'm not Paul Pierce, I'm Mickael Pietrus, and you said it like that. Now, I want to know, is that actually how you pronounce your name, or is it Mickael? Is it Mickael?
Throughout my career, some people call me every different name. Pietrus, Peaches, Air France, no friends, any kind of name, but any kind of name was fine to me, because as long as people enjoy my name, people enjoy myself being on the floor, it was fine with me.
Do you think that you kind of changed your name to Mickael a little bit because Americans can't say Mickael?
No, I never changed my name. Even in France, I tell people to call me Michael. It's because of Michael Jordan that, I started playing basketball. And then I had a dream to be one day Michael Jordan. And I found myself being on a Team Jordan. And that was the best gift forever from God.
Now, so I was going to ask you who your favorite basketball player is. The answer is Michael Jordan, I assume.
Of course, it's Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan all day. I love Michael Jordan.
So I want to know, you got LeBron James versus the Michael Jordan debate. Where does LeBron James come in, all-time players? Where does he come in the ranking for you?
I mean, to me, you can't compare Michael Jordan and LeBron James because it's two different generations. I mean, back then the game was way more difficult.
That's a good point.
You got to give LeBron credit too, because he always carried the team. He always carried Miami to 2-3 championship. He gave Cleveland 1 championship. So you got to give LeBron some credit. And obviously, he's 2 Nike players, so I like them both.
And Mickael, so one of your nicknames was Air France. That's one of your big nicknames. First of all, how'd that come about? And do you think you lived up to the nickname Air France?
I think if you watch YouTube, I was always in the air with people. And obviously, I developed my game shooting threes too. So I was kind of like Air France on the ground and Air France in the air too. So throughout my career, people call me Air France. And then when I was playing in France, they call me Air Jordan. So it was kind of a fun nickname to have for a young player.
So Mickael, we like 2 things on the shows. We like confident answers and we like starting rivalries. So there's a new guy, maybe the new age, funny post-press conference, funny Twitter. Back when you used Twitter, you were hilarious on Twitter. You're clearly funny. New guy, Joel Embiid. Are you funnier than Joel Embiid?
I mean, I always give people my best tweet on Twitter when I used to play was my Valentine days, my 15 advices. And then, I kind of follow Joel Embiid, even though, I'm retired. I'm not into social media anymore. But it's a different generation. Back then people used to be on camera. Now people socialize themselves on Twitter, on Instagram. So I think it's a new generation.
Right.
And with you being such a funny guy, what do you plan to do like right now? Like you just retired from basketball a few years ago. What's going on right now? With Mickael Pietrus. What's going on? You gonna be a stand-up comedian? What do you want to do?
I was trying to be Dave Chappelle, but I think I'm gonna give up on this one. And then I like Kevin Hart too, but I think I'm gonna give up on my comedian career. I just want to be on TV and be funny, talk about the game in a funny way, in a fun way. That's always the way I was when I was playing. Like I was just trying to give people what Mickael Pietrus is all about: fun and have a smile and forget your problem at home. That's it.
And there's tons of like on YouTube. You can go on YouTube and see a ton of like post-game interviews from you and how silly you used to be and everything. So my question is, were you kind of like the life of the locker room everywhere you went? Did everybody just love Mickael Pietrus?
Oh yeah, they love they love the way I was playing on the floor. They loved the way I was in the locker room, always cracking jokes, but at the same time when it was game time, being serious too. And life is all about fun. We're doing a job that we love. The guy that I like as a coach is like Greg Popovich. He's serious, but he knows how to have fun with his players too.
Yeah. Now I saw a video not too long ago of you on YouTube. There was a camera of you on the bench when you were with the Magic, and you were making the cross eyes. And
did you see that fro?
It was good.
Oh man, I used to have a fro.
It was beautiful.
But now it's all about the gray hair.
You've grown up, Mickael. But my question is, did you ever mess with, Lance Stevenson blew in somebody's ear at one point? I think it was LeBron's. Did you ever mess with your opponents while you were on the floor, or were you kind of just all business once you were on the floor?
No, I was all business because I was guarding the best player, so I was better keep my focus and not trying to get disturbed by anybody. One night it was Kobe Bryant, the other night was Tracy McGrady the next day. So to me, it wasn't fun at all. But at the same time, I've seen players just distract other team just because they try to win a basketball game. That's what Lance Stevenson did to LeBron. He was just trying to win a basketball game.
And speaking of winning basketball games, you were able to win a lot, over the course of your career. The one season you helped lead the Magic to the finals in 2009, which is an amazing year. By the way, I'm a Magic fan.
I love the Magic.
Me too, buddy. Me too. I love you too. I just want to
listen to Bandwagon.
There you go. So my main question is, that team just. As a Magic fan, I'm still nostalgic for that team, man. You got Mickael Pietrus, Jameer Nelson, Rashard Lewis, Dwight Howard, all those guys. What was it like being on that team, on that journey with those guys?
It was fun. It was a nice ride. I think it was all about chemistry, and it was all about respect. I think we respect each other. We was playing for each other. And I think we had a great coach back then, too, Stan Van Gundy, who's coaching for Detroit now. And everything was fun. I think we had so much fun that year. I think we should have won that championship, but hey, the Black Mamba woke up and gave us the business.
Gave you the business. I think the lowest amount of points he scored in that series was 29. I think that was the lowest he scored.
Yeah. But I was just trying to disturb him. But hey, Kobe Bryant is a Kobe Bryant. He's a legend for a reason. And, I respect that. And, I always grew up watching Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. So, to me, I wish I could have won it with the Magic. But the best got to win it sometimes.
That's fair. Hey, I want to ask about something sort of serious, not really, but maybe not so much funny. You got traded from Orlando to Phoenix in December of 2010. What is it like getting traded, a year after?
I didn't like that trade.
Yeah, I believe it.
I didn't like that trade. I'm still wonder, even though I'm retired now, I'm still wonder why they traded me that year. I thought the Magic was my family, and they still my family. But sometimes team gotta do their own business, and player gotta go to another team and perform. But to be honest with you, I didn't like that trade.
So were you pissed when they told you you're gone?
I was pissed because I was watching the TV. Then I saw Rashard Lewis got traded. And then I saw a breaking news on ESPN, and I saw my name. I was like, wow. But I always call them and say, hey, no matter what you guys do, I wish you guys the best. I want you guys to be to win a championship. And obviously, they didn't do it. So
Class act.
It was good to see.
Class act.
Well, so they didn't even tell you. You found out on ESPN that you were getting traded. They didn't even tell you you were getting traded.
No, they didn't tell me. I mean, I think it's the secret of basketball. And then players play, and the owners, they do what they have to do to make the team better. So at the end of the day, I was just trying to be happy, and then I went to Phoenix, and then I was trying to give my best too. And then it was fun to play with Steve Nash, and then life goes on.
Right, and I guess those last couple years with the Magic, or really the last year, when you got traded, that was kind of when everything started falling apart for Orlando. You had the whole Dwight Howard, Stan Van Gundy thing. So did you ever see any tension between like Dwight and Stan Van Gundy?
No, I never saw any tension. All I saw was two people that wanted to win. And obviously, when you're a big franchise, you lose one game, I think is a crisis. And I think we should have kept the same team and just bring one more player in. But I think we had Sircle that year leading the team, Marshall Lewis, Dwight. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you make bad decisions, and it is what it is. You just got to move on, and that's it. And
like I mentioned, I'm a big Magic fan. So, the past 5 years, we've been absolutely terrible. And I have one quick suggestion. How about we just get you, Jameer, Richard, Dwight, we just get all y'all back in Orlando for the next couple of years, and y'all will definitely win a ring. How's that sound?
That sounds great. But I think, the NBA changed so much that now you see all the young players, and I think everybody deserves a chance. And maybe one day, why not the Magic reunite the team that went to the finals against the Lakers, just say hi to the fan, and just remember that 2009 was a great year for the Magic.
Now, you played with the big three in Boston, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett. We'll get into that in a second, but I want to jump just strictly to Kevin Garnett for a second. So last month...
That's my man.
I'm excited to hear that because I hope...
that's my man. That's the big ticket.
That's the big ticket. You're right.
Yes.
So listen to this. So you know Rashad McCants, right? Former Timberwolf?
Yes.
So we had him on the show last month, and he gave us an entire story about Kevin Garnett yelling at him when he was a rookie. Because he didn't bring donuts to practice. So, he gave his best KG impression, well, those motherfucking donuts! You didn't bring no motherfucking donuts, right? So, did you ever see KG do anything like that to a rookie?
No. Because I think that year, I think I have nothing wrong to say about KG. KG was the man. I like KG. He brings so much energy to the team. He bring the winning attitude that everybody wanted. And I think that's what I remember with KG. I was sitting with him on the plane. We always talk, share family stories, and share basketball stories, and share life stories too. So to me, playing for Boston was one of the best moments in my career.
What's the best KG story you have offhand? Is there anything funny you have about KG offhand?
I mean, when you play with KG, it's nothing funny. We're gonna have fun on the plane, but on the floor, as soon as we land, it's not funny anymore. It's all about winning. It's all about having that winning attitude when you you wear that Boston jersey. You gotta love it. That's why they're so young now and they play so great because of the fan, because of the history of the Celtics. You gotta be proud wearing that jersey.
How intense was KG? Like, especially on the floor, because you saw a couple of years ago when he headbutted Dwight Howard when they were in like a little skirmish. Like, how intense was it to play around a guy like that?
I mean, to me, it was great because we got a similar attitude on the floor. We want to win and we want to fight. And I think when KG step on the floor, he wants to fight. Yeah, it doesn't mean that he has something against somebody. He just wanna. That's his way. That's his way to win. So he's gonna show you his way to win. And it's not the best way. You might feel it offended sometimes because he go at you. But KG is a nice guy. That's one of the best guys I've met in my life with Ray Allen and Paul Pierce in basketball.
Now, Michael, as someone from France, what was one American city that you went to and either thought, oh my God, this is awesome, or the other side of it, I never want to come back to this dump again. Was there a city that you just either really, really loved or really hated or both?
A city that I really love was Orlando because it's quiet, it's family oriented. And the city that I hate the most, probably Utah and Milwaukee.
Oh, come on.
Milwaukee, I love the Bucks. I respect any NBA team, but Milwaukee sucks.
Why does it suck?
It's nothing to do. I mean, the city doesn't live. It's all you see. It's snow, and snow.
You're not wrong. You know, I'm sitting in the middle of Wisconsin right now, so I understand the snow part. But I think Milwaukee's a fun city. You don't think so?
It's a fun city because it's like an hour away from Chicago. That's the best part of living in Milwaukee. But at the same time, you know, as I said, I respect every. It's not nothing against Milwaukee, but the city is nothing. The city sucks.
And clearly, you still love Orlando and everything. You love everything about Orlando, it seems like. So I want you to give a pitch to any free agent that might want to come to Orlando. What would be the draw for why you would want to play for the Magic in Orlando?
Hey, listen, any NBA player that wants to play for the Magic, you play for the Magic, you're gonna live in Orlando forever. And you're gonna meet a nice family, the DeVos family, which is a great family. They're gonna treat you like their kids. You're gonna be welcomed. They're gonna make sure that you know you're taken care of, and the city gonna taking care of you too. So let me tell you, whenever somebody play in Orlando, he's gonna buy a house in Orlando, and he's gonna live in Orlando.
My God, you are just fantastic. What was the peak moment for you in your career, Mickael? If you had to pick one moment, what was the peak? This is the best moment of my career.
Honestly, every day being an NBA player was the best moment for me. I cannot tell you that a game that I scored 30 points, I scored 40 points, I scored 0 points. It was, to me, every game was all about fun, all about getting on the floor, having a smile on my face. And, I told myself, the day you're going to retire, the day is going to be over, just keep that smile on your face and just go through it. That's it.
Mickael, you're from France, obviously. You're a big Frenchman. And I saw a video of you interviewing Dwight Howard. It was a while back while you guys played for the Magic. And you asked him, name 5 players from France. And so he just had to list off 5 players from France. So Alex Strofe right here, my co-host, Strofe is German, right? So I want you to see if you can name 3 German players that played in the NBA.
Okay, Dirk Nowitzki.
Yep.
There you go.
Dennis Schroeder.
Yep.
And then Mickael Pietrus, because I'm German too.
Oh, he cheated.
Oh,
he got us.
Yeah, because I have a German dog, so I feel like I'm German too.
Hold on, did you say you have a German dog?
Yeah, so I feel like I'm German too.
I don't know if it works like that.
That's a good answer. I like it.
I'll take it, but I don't know if it works like that. Hey, my last question for you, Mickael. Thanks for being so great with your time. My last one for you is, since Victor's making fun of me, I'm going to make fun of him a little bit. So you can hear that Vic's got a little southern drawl from being in North Carolina. He's got that Southern American accent. Can you give me your best impression of a Southern American?
I have no. You know what? I cannot make it. The only difference I can make is somebody coming from the West Coast and somebody come from the East Coast, like a New York and LA.
Do me a Boston or a New York accent.
First of all, my accent, I don't even know if it's West or East. So basically, I'm gonna pass on this one.
He's gonna pass on it.
Okay.
I'm gonna pass on it.
I can respect that. I can respect that. Yeah, I guess my last question, Mickael, is so I wanted to get to this a little bit earlier, but you play with the big 3, like we mentioned, in Boston, and you love KG, all that, but you also play with Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo, those guys, fantastic basketball players. But there's been a lot of tension and arguments between them, since then. So is there any way right now you can let us know, or I guess send a message to them and say why all of them should make up and be friends again?
I think they should make up. I mean, it was the game. Sometimes you gotta make your own decision. You got even sometimes it's coming your family. Sometimes you want to go to Miami. Go to Miami. Make the best decision for your family and yourself. At the end of the day, they won a championship together, and they won't take that away. All I gotta tell them, all of them, Paul Pierce, Rondo, Ray Allen, and KG, come to France, and then I'm taking you to Paris, and we're gonna have fun.
Is there any chance that we could come to France and you'll take us to Paris? Just a guy's trip, just a guy's weekend.
Whenever you guys are ready, we do a bandwagon straight in Paris, straight in the Champs-Élysées, live from an NBA game in the playoffs.
I love it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm down.
It's a date. Mickael Pietrus, ladies and gentlemen, the Electric Air France. Mickael Pietrus. Mickael, thank you so much for joining us today on the Bandwagon.
All right, turn the bandwagon. Hey, Magic, Warriors all day. I love them. The Celtics. I love everybody that I played for. Thanks again to Bandwagon. Now I'm retired. I'm taking care of my kids. I'm driving them to school. I'm taking them everywhere, seeing them grow. And I said, Mickael Pietrus, was fun for me to be in the NBA. I thank the NBA forever because I never had the chance to retire on TV. Because players like me don't retire on TV. So thanks again to Bandwagon. I'll see you soon.
Mickael, hold on real quick. Would you like to officially retire right now?
I've been retired.
You want to make it official, though. You said you were never able to do it on TV.
Okay.
Do it right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mickael Pietrus. Yes, I would like to say that I'm officially retired from basketball. I would like to thank everybody that loved me, everybody that didn't love me but I still love them, that Mickael Pietrus retired, and then have a smile on their face, and I love them forever.
Okay, we're gonna throw you a parade. We're gonna get your jerseys hung from all the rafters, everything. We're gonna give you the whole 9 yards, Mickael.
We're gonna do that.
Don't even worry about it. We've got you covered.
All right, thanks, Bandwagon.
Thanks, Mickael.
Guys soon.
We love you. Bye.
All right, see you.
We are back. Thanks again to Mickael Pietrus for joining us today on the Bandwagon. Victor, he is officially done.
How unbelievable is that? A man of his, prestige, finally calling it quits. And I applaud him for doing it on this show, though, because
best choice.
We gave him the respect he deserved. I just want to say this. I say this about a lot of our guests. I love that man. I mean it. I mean it with Mickael Pietrus. That was the most fun interview I've ever been a part of in my life. It's the best interview anyone will ever hear. It's the best interview to ever go on the show. I'm sorry, all the guests before him and all the guests after him. You can't top Mickael Pietrus.
See, now, what really was the best part for me, and it was right away, it was off, it was technically on the air, but off the air. Excuse me. Is right when we got on the phone with him, I explained to him who we are, what we do, like I do with all our guests. And then I asked him, can you record the beginning? And I was starting to explain to him, just say, hey, this is former NBA player Mickael Pietrus, and you're listening to the Bandwagon. And before I could even tell him what to do, Vic, he was saying, I said, hey, so just say something along the lines of, hey, this is former, and he goes, okay, got it, in his accent. And I was like, yeah, so just, and then he's like, no, I got it. And then he's like, right now? And I'm like, yeah, go. And he goes, this is Mickael Pietrus on the Bandwagon. Every day we do this on the Bandwagon on the radio. Every day this is the Bandwagon. And it was an unscripted, just beautiful gold.
It was gold. I remember him doing that because you asked it, which I usually ask the guest that. But I couldn't in this instance because of the way we're recording it because he's in France. And you as soon as you got the first couple of words out of your mouth, he just interrupted you and said, let's do it. Let's go. And I was just like, whoa.
Yeah, it was awesome.
He has so much energy. I love him. Wow.
He was an energetic man. He was the French version of Lorenzo Neal.
Yes, sir.
So with that being said, Vic, let's honor Mickael Pietrus. We like to honor our guests every once in a while. Today's going to be one of those. So let's do a take 5. Take 5, French Inventions. Now, before we get to take 5, if you've listened to the show before, we're changing it up. You know what they say, new year, new me? It's new year, new way to do take 5. We're doing a little fantasy draft style. So as always, we're gonna actually, not as always, we're gonna newly start at number 1, work our way down to our number 5s, fantasy draft style, so we have no repeats. But as always, Victor's going to go first, and it's going to be snake draft, ladies and gentlemen. So that's the new way to do Take 5. I feel like it's a more effective and more productive way. Victor, French inventions are Take 5 today.
So we compiled this list of French inventions, right? And we're trying to build the best French invention team. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Alex, mine's going to win. Mine's going to top yours 100% in every facet of life. So my number 1 pick in this snake draft for French inventions, the calculator. You can't get along without the calculator. I suck at math, so I'm terrible with the calculator. Imagine myself without a calculator. I mean, I wouldn't have made it to where I am today.
Did you ever, were you the kid in class that spelled words onto the calculator?
Occasionally. I mean, considering there's only 3 words you can spell on a calculator. Like a normal calculator. I mean, obviously there's the calculator that has the keyboard on it and stuff.
But you don't want that. No. I'm talking 3rd grade. You're typing 43110. Hello.
Yeah, right.
Or maybe 80085.
Yeah. We all know what that spells. I could be one of those guys. But I just love the calculator because it actually helped me through a subject I'm already terrible at.
Fair enough. My number 1, my first round pick, if you will. I'm going to stay inappropriate. My first round pick is going to be the Etch-a-Sketch because, who didn't draw dicks on their Etch-a-Sketch when they were in 4th grade?
I can honestly say I never drew a dick on my Etch-a-Sketch. What are you talking about? Who did that? In 4th grade, you were sitting there drawing penises on your Etch-a-Sketch. You're 8 years old, Alex. Did you even know you had a penis at that point? Isn't that before you learn what all the stuff is down there?
Did you get the talk when you were in, what was it, 5th grade? Did you get the talk?
You mean when we watched the puberty video? Because we watched one of those.
They get all the guys in your grade in one room.
Yep, and we watched we probably watched the same video. It was from Disney or something like that.
So the guy who ran our talk was our fresh out of college, 22-year-old gym teacher. Do you remember who did your talk?
I think it was the only 5th grade male teacher that there was in there.
Okay.
Which he didn't actually do anything. He just played a 30-minute video and that was it.
Okay.
That would have been way too uncomfortable for me, I think.
Yeah, that's fair. So like we said, it's snake draft, so I get to go again, don't I?
Oh, you do. I don't like snake drafts.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, my number 2 is going to be, we've talked about this on a different Take 5. It's going to be brought up on another Take 5. The modern pencil.
Oh, wow. You took that from me. Wow.
I'm sorry.
The thing is, Alex, I'm going to go ahead and pin you as a guy that doesn't use wooden pencils.
I don't. I use pens. You're right.
Right. So you're essentially using the modern you're taking the modern pencil in this draft and you don't even use it. So how strong of a pick really is that? I'm a big wooden pencil guy. People judge me all the time. People actually somebody just talked to me the other day about why you're using that wooden pencil. I always use wooden pencils.
You're a strange man.
You're so sweet. My number 2, second round pick. You know what? We're very inclusive on the show. We don't discriminate. We love everyone. And that's why my number 2 pick, the French invented Braille.
Oh, by a man named Braille, actually.
Ooh, wow. Which
he was also blind, by the way.
Ooh. I was having a discussion the other night, actually, ironically, that I was trying to figure out how does Braille work? You know what I mean? That's kind of tough. It's not tough. I know there's an alphabet, and it's just I don't know. It'd be hard for me to learn Braille, I guess. I don't know. I guess maybe it wouldn't be, but. And then somebody that I was with said something like, "Why don't they just feel the words, like feel the actual letters? Like, why does it have to be dots and Braille?" And I thought, wow, that's actually kind of a good question, but I don't know. So Braille.
Because, that's a good point.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm not blind and I don't use Braille, so I can't answer that. But I imagine some of the American alphabet letters are too similar.
Maybe that's it. But they're dots. So wouldn't those be even more similar?
It's good.
That's a good point.
Anyway, kudos to all the people that know Braille and teach Braille and write Braille and, help the visually impaired. We love you guys. Glad you guys are fans of the show. So snake draft. So it's my turn again. My third pick. This one's tough, man. I don't really have an allegiance to this because I can't do it. But I gotta go bicycle as my number 3. I mean, that's a pretty good invention.
Why can't you do a bicycle?
I can't ride a bike.
You can't ride a bike?
I cannot ride a bicycle. Nope.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. So, when you're on the first day of classes and the teacher's always like, well, tell everybody a fun fact about yourself. You're doing stupid icebreakers and nobody cares because everybody's always just sitting there like worried about what they're going to say. Like they don't care what anybody else has to say. Yep. So my fun fact is always, considering I have nothing else really that interesting about me, I always just say, can't ride a bike. And the whole class is like what? And I'm just can't ride
when's
it.
When's the last time you tried? When's the last time you tried?
Probably like 5 years ago was the last time I tried. I don't have the balance. I think it's an inner ear problem. I just can't. I can't do it. The cornucopia in the ear or whatever it's called. I just fall over. I just topple. I just can't. I can't do it. And here's my biggest pet peeve about it, Alex, is that people always look at me and they're like, "You don't know how to ride a bike?" Like, yes, biatch, I know how to ride a bike. You literally sit on it and push the pedals. I get it. I'm not an idiot. I physically, I mentally understand how to ride a bike. I just physically cannot do it. Just shut up.
Well, I'm not even going to argue with that. My number 3, this would be correct?
Correct.
My number 3 is canned food. Us as college students, we understand the struggle.
Okay.
I eat a lot of SpaghettiOs, Vic.
I respect that.
Those puppies don't go bad.
I feel like eventually they have to. Probably because it's not real.
It's processed food. It's processed food and just not real at all. But it's canned, and canned food is delicious. My number 4, shout out to all the women listeners out there. The modern bra was invented in France. Shout out to all the twins and the females they're attached to listening.
Right, that was a very awkward.
Am I allowed to say that?
I don't know. That was really that was insanely awkward, Alex. Wow. Okay, number 4. Here's a big one. I think this is my 4th pick. I think this will help. This right here is my dark horse. That'll help me win the championship between the two of us with this draft. We see it in every sport. Not college sports because they don't allow this, but professional sports, we always see it after a big dub, after somebody wins something, big, a championship, a divisional playoff game, a wild card game, whatever. You know what? My 4th round pick is champagne. Pop that bubbly.
Pop bottles, boy.
Bottles. So I love watching locker room celebrations, especially in the MLB when they just celebrate after winning the wild card game. And it's just like they just want to celebrate something, so they're just spraying champagne everywhere, even though it's stupid. So that's my number 3. No, number 4. Sorry. So my 5th and final pick. I think I'm picking this one because it made me laugh when I saw it. Apparently, the French invented the word entrepreneur. So.
Ooh.
I don't know how you get credited with inventing a word, really, and why. And I saw this on an article that said 9. It was something along the lines of 9 French inventions that changed the world. And apparently, the word, not the concept of entrepreneur, but the word entrepreneur is one of the 9 things that changed the world. So, you know what? I got to go with that as my 5th and final pick.
See, now, my 5th and final pick, we'll get there in a second. But I want to throw a couple disclaimers in there right away. Some runners-up, maybe some honorable mentions here. The World Cup, the FIFA World Cup was invented in France. Mayonnaise was invented in France. The hot air balloon was invented in France. The French fries were not invented in France. I found that out today. I don't know why it was invented in Belgium. Why do they call them French fries? But my number 5, another one that I found.
I want to go throw in another honorable mention. Mickael Pietrus was also invented in France. So he's a pretty good one.
Like aspirin was made in France, but my 5th is actually the rabies vaccine. Shout out to all the dogs out there not dying anymore.
I'm pretty sure the rabies vaccine is more for humans. Has nothing to do with dogs. I mean, maybe it could. I guess it does. I mean,
I'm not a doctor.
I mean, I guess it does. I mean, they get rabies shots. All pets get rabies shots.
Yes, they do. So do we, though.
Yeah, we do. If we're bit by something that might have rabies, we get rabies shots. So it goes both ways. You're right. I respect that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So I think my team is going to beat yours. We'll talk about it though. That's fine. Entrepreneurs got you.
Maybe we'll do a little Twitter poll or something.
Oh, that's a good idea. Guys, vote for me at ForZeal33. Follow me on Twitter, FREZEAL33. Gotta throw that out there. Yeah.
It's the first time you've ever spelled it correctly on the show. Let's move on.
All right. Nice.
Let's move on.
Cute.
So let's move on to a segment called Suggestion Circle. Circle spelled with an S. Suggestion also spelled with an S. SS, S squared. Suggestion Circle.
Hold on. I just realized, Alex.
Yeah.
We call it SS sometimes. Wasn't that like the Nazis? Don't they call themselves the SS?
I don't know. I've never heard that before.
Wasn't that the soldiers were called the SS? I don't know. Somebody check that. We'll check that later. But I think we'll
do that.
We're not supporting Nazis. I promise. It's okay though.
Never.
Never. Not a Nazi guy.
No, I hope not.
No,
That's
not
good.
At all. That made for an awkward exchange. Anyway, am I going first? Or are you going first?
Up to you. It's your call.
No, I'll go first. I'll hop on this one. So, Alex, I had dinner at Chipotle.
Okay.
Tonight, actually. Or I guess it would be last night. I had dinner at Chipotle because there's literally nothing else open. There's probably 2 or 3 other restaurants open around Chapel Hill, or at least around the place I was walking around because of the snow, 10 inches of snow. So me and my man Toby are just like, you know what? Hey, let's go to Chipotle. We walked all the way down to Chipotle. There's this long line, man. We were waiting in there forever. It's cool though. It's cool. We made it through. We were there for about 35 minutes, probably waiting. And Alex, first off, Chipotle is not very good. I don't know how often you've had Chipotle.
I agree.
It's not very good. It's very, very overrated. Secondly, though, they overcharge for everything. Like, the food is not that expensive, I guess, but you have to pay for your own chips, right? They're the only Mexican-type restaurant I've ever seen that makes you pay for chips. That doesn't make any sense. You have to pay extra, like $2.05 or $2.15 for guacamole. Last time I checked, Alex, avocados aren't gold. Like, there's probably a bunch of them. You don't have to pay that much extra for guacamole. Just saying.
Avocados don't grow on trees.
I think I don't know. They're not fruit, so they're vegetables.
Oh, yeah, they do, don't they? Yeah.
Actually,
no, they do. They do, yeah.
Do they grow on the ground?
They do.
Is there an avocado tree? I don't know how that works. We're not doing
People
science.
say money doesn't grow on trees either.
I understood the pun, but now I'm actually starting to wonder if it grows on trees or not. Anyway.
No, it does.
Okay, good. I'm glad you confirmed that. So you got to pay like $2.15 extra for guac. I'm not a cheese person. I don't eat cheese, but you got to pay like $2 extra for like queso or whatever. You got to pay $1 extra for salsa if you want it, like on the side. None of it makes any sense, Alex. So my suggestion is Chipotle, get your act together and stop charging everybody extra for everything. Don't even make sense, man. Like, if you're going to charge extra for something, at the very least, make your food worth it. Make the guacamole worth it. Make the chips worth it. The chips taste weird anyway. Like, the salsa, if you get mild salsa, it's literally just chopped up tomatoes thrown in a little container. It's not even like salsa. It's like pico de gallo. Like, do better, Chipotle, please. I'm begging you to do better. So my suggestion to y'all is, if y'all don't want to lose business for people like me leaving, you know what? Change your ways. Get rid of the salmonella, the E. coli, all that stuff as well. But just, you need a whole revamp. I think you bring me and Alex in. to do an entire rebrand of Chipotle. I think that would work. I don't know how you feel about that, Alex, but I think that would work. We got to do something here, man. That's all I'm asking. If we do something, Chipotle, if you need to bring us in to help you guys out, I can. I'm here for you. I'm giving you great tips right now. But please, Chipotle, change something.
So what I've gathered is he didn't think it was very good.
It was not bad, but it was just like, come on, dude. Like, you can improve this. For being so famous and having so many restaurants everywhere, it's subpar, man. It's subpar.
So, Victor, my suggestion, Sircle, and by the way, before I get that, I'm not a big Qdoba nor Chipotle guy. Not huge on either of them.
Right.
But my suggestion, Sircle, is actually salute to you.
Oh.
Before the show during prep tonight, we discussed a certain pop star or rapper. I don't really know what category he falls into. His name is Flo Rida, and you said, you know what? I'm a huge Flo Rida guy.
I am a diehard Flo Rida fan. That's facts.
Yeah. So I looked him up. I decided, let's look up maybe his top 40 hits. So over the course of his career, Flo Rida has produced 29 songs that hit the top 100 on Billboard's charts, 11 of which hit the top 10, and 3 of which peaked at number 1, Right Round, Whistle, and Low. And I'm surprised My House was number 1 song, but that's beside the point. Good Feeling at number 3, My House at number 4, which it peaked at. Wild Ones with Sia, number 5. Victor,
GDFR.
What's your favorite Flo? GDFR's up there. I Cry, Sugar, all up there. What's your favorite Flo Rida song of all time?
You know what? I was listening to Flo Rida. The reason I even brought him up before the show was because I was jamming to Flo Rida walking in the snow on the way to the podcast lab. And I was listening to My House, Right Round, and Elevator with Timbaland. So
Okay.
I think if I had to choose a favorite of mine all time for Flo Rida, it'd have to be Right Round. I love that song.
Okay.
It's great.
Now, when I was younger, my favorite song by him was Whistle, but it took me a while to realize that song is incredibly inappropriate.
Right, yeah, you're right. What's it about, Alex?
I mean,
no, don't say it. Don't say it.
we don't.
No, don't say it.
Yeah, we don't discuss oral sex on this podcast. Anyway, but we all jammed a Low when we were younger. I remember I was swinging on a swing set about 10 years ago,
man.
actually, over 10 years ago when that peaked at number 1.
Legendary.
Wow.
I mean,
That's incredible.
it's just
That's
insane
already
how
10
much,
years ago.
how like fifth graders will be listening to these songs and like it's about strippers and oral sex and all this stuff. It's like, wow, good job, parents. No offense,
So,
guys, but
My suggestion, Sircle, is respect Flo Rida.
how could you not? The thing is, Alex, is you can't get off here because your suggestion circle is respect Flo Rida. You need to take that suggestion yourself.
I do. You're right. I agree.
Because
That's
we
why
were
I did
talking
it.
about it before the show. You don't respect him that much. You don't think he's that great. Or at least you didn't before we started the conversation.
No, I didn't realize how great he's done for himself, so I got to respect it.
He puts in work. That is facts. 11
Yeah.
top 10 hits. That's a big number. I couldn't do it.
You're right.
I couldn't do it. So Flo Rida's the man. I think he's honestly, in my mind, he's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
he'll go down in the Hall of Fame. I'm telling you, man. Flo Rida's the man. He's just going to keep cranking them out, too. I bet he will. Bet he will.
Crank him up. Crank him up.
Yep.
Let's move on to our final segment, shall we?
I'm down.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the signature and final segment, jumping on a bandwagon. I'll go first, you go second. I'm going to jump on the bandwagon of dentists. Now, Victor, I know you and I probably share a, I wouldn't say hatred, but something we don't necessarily enjoy doing is going to the dentist's office, getting a teeth cleaning,
It's not that
getting a
bad.
filling, whatever. Makes your teeth feel good, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, the only thing is my gums bleed a lot because I'm not a big floss guy. I need to floss a lot more. That's the thing. Is every time I go, though, it's like, you need to floss. And it's like, I don't want to.
That's everyone.
Yeah.
That's everyone. But hey,
But other than that, it's
I
not
got. So on Wednesday night, the Chicago Bulls hosted the Golden State Warriors. Golden State ended up winning 119 to 112. Chris Dunn, the point guard, or a point guard, I should say, for the Chicago Bulls. Long story short, went up for a dunk, hit the floor, face first, lost a tooth, chipped the paint in the floorboards on the court, like red paint on the sideline, tore it up with his tooth, lost his tooth. So he will be visiting the dentists, and they're going to fix that grill. And you know what they should do is like keep some red on his new tooth, on his fake tooth. Keep some red on there. Be like, hey, how'd you get that red on your tooth, Chris?
That's a good idea.
Dunk, then hit the floor.
That's really smart.
It's a mark of toughness, I believe. So I'm jumping on the bandwagon of dentists.
I respect it. I like it. Now I'm going to stick to the hardwood, and I'm going to jump on the bandwagon of being fearless. You know,
okay.
If you watch the SportsCenter Top 10 or any Top 10 play show for that matter, we don't have an ESPN bias or anything like that. A lot of, especially during basketball season, you're going to see a lot of dunks on there, right, Alex? You're going to see a lot of posterizations.
That's true.
I was watching the Kansas and West Virginia basketball game the other night. I don't know if you watched this game at all. I was watching the first half, didn't really watch much of the second half. I got busy, schoolwork and all that mess. But the first half, I was watching a guy, number 50 on West Virginia. I'm going to butcher his name. Sagaba Konate. I don't know.
I like it.
I don't know if that's how you say
It's
it.
a nice name.
I tried. I think I did pretty well. Tua Tungo Vailoa. So, Konate, I'm telling you, man, he had 5 blocks in the first half, right? Almost every single block was a dude on Kansas was about to just jam on him, and the dude would, like, put his hands up, jump as high as you could possibly imagine, and stuff the guys before they could even get to the rim. It was one of those times where you would see a block like that, like maybe once in an NBA season, and be like, oh, that's the block of the year. He had like 3 or 4 of them in like back-to-back-to-back type possession. It was like happening like over and over and over and over and over. I'm jumping on the bandwagon of being fearless because this dude was not scared at all. Like, he was kind of like, you know what? I might be on the SportsCenter Top 10 in a bad way if this dude just jams on me. But, hey, I'm going to give it a shot anyway. And the dude, I was freaking out, man. I was freaking out. I was like, how is this guy doing all this? This defense is insane. Press Virginia. They lost the game. They lost the game. They got tired in the second half. But it's okay because, Konate, you got my star of the night that night. You got my star of the week, star of the month. You're the man. Keep doing what you're doing. He will be better than Dikembe Mutombo and Hakeem Olajuwon combined. Mark it. Konate's my man.
I can't even
He'll go second round to the Jazz or something and probably never be heard of again. But he's my man.
Okay.
So that's it.
Shout out to him.
Shout out.
Nice blocks. I'm trying to think of the guy's name now. The guy I wrote about who was never heard of again, even though he had like a 7'8" wingspan.
Is that guy that played for Green Bay?
No. He played for. He's from another country. Got drafted by the Hawks. Now he plays for the Cavs.
Oh, Walter Tavares.
Walter Tavares.
Hey, he's the man. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. He's never heard of again. He's going to be out of the league in 2 years. Anyway.
What was the guy's name on Green Bay? That's center.
Oh, Alec Brown.
Yeah, Alec Brown. Yeah, what's he doing now?
I think he's in the G League or something. I don't know.
Okay. I think he's in that same draft, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
He was, yeah. He got drafted by the Suns, 50th overall.
Wow. Nice. I killed that.
Bow. All right. For Victor, for Mickael Pietrus, my name's Alex Strofe. That's it. We'll be talking Super Bowl next week, Vic. How insane is that?
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a fun weekend, man. I'm telling you, don't leave your couch. It's going to be crazy. Only leave your couch if you're going to your desktop computer to visit thebandwagonpod.com. We're going to have some cool stories out for y'all that we're both working on a little bit. Alex has done a great job with that design. I'm telling y'all, check out thebandwagonpod.com in the next couple weeks. It's going to be nice. It's up now. It's going to just keep being revamped. Going to keep looking nice. I'm telling y'all, go check it out.
Good stuff, Vic. Good promo.
Of course. Yep. Got it. Hey,
Victor.
somebody's got to do it.
For Victor, For Mickael Pietrus, Victor at FreeZeal33 on Twitter. You've heard it throughout the show. You can connect with the show using hashtag BandwagonPod. For myself, at Alex_Strofe on Twitter. That's out. We're out. Good night, folks.
Goodbye.
I didn't come here to party. I didn't come here to stay. I came to live with somebody. I only came for the cake. Cook a cake, 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 cake. Cook a cake, 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 cake. Cook a cake, 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 cake. I only came for the cake.
Cake, 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 cake.